Good evening, everyone. This is Starving Poet. I haven't been online for a while. I haven't been broadcasting. That's because I have been playing The Last Remnant. I bought this game pretty much right when it came out in 2009, and it has been sitting in my Steam list for all these years. I'm just going to load up a New Game Plus. I just beat it today. All in all, overall, looking back, I really enjoyed the game. I spent 140 hours and at 100% clear. So if you're looking for bang for your buck, this is one of those games. I'm just going to go through the opening stuff so there won't be any spoilers. You don't have to worry about that. It's a very interesting game. It takes a while to get into. Sort of had that argument with Square-Enix's Final Fantasy 13 as well. A lot of people say the game got good in the last half. The argument is, why even bother? This is one of those games for me that it took a while to figure out, and I didn't use the wiki. There is no manual, so to speak, with this game. Trying to figure out how the mechanics work took a long time, and I'm going to say maybe 30 hours worth. Substantial. Alright, there's another problem I have with this game, that is the field of view initially is impossible for me to play with. You don't notice it here, you won't notice it in the battles. But as soon as we get through this, I'll show you. So what kind of game is this? It's a typical Japanese RPG, and it's really heavy on the grind. It actually kind of reminds me a lot of White Knight Chronicles, if you've played those on the PS3. This game was released on the Xbox, 2 middling reviews, some hardware problems, and it was re-released on the PC. And this is one of those games where the PC port is far and above the more improved version of the original. All the DLC is added in. All the graphics work much better. It's a much smoother game. Almost all the enemies have been rebalanced. It's all the problems with the Xbox version, which was you were basically penalized for leveling too much, or power leveling anyway, were taken away. So, in that sense, if you're going to play this game, I highly recommend you pick it up on Steam. I think it's like $10, or you'll find it on sale every once in a while for $5. Japanese RPG turn-based, they sort of play with how this works. Instead of having 4 people on the field, what you have is you have unions. You and the enemy have unions. And how that works is you are in control of a group of up to 5 people in each union, and you can have, eventually as the game goes on, up to 5 unions, not including summons, and a total of 18 party members on the field. And the reason this has received some mixed emotions is unlike your standard playthrough on these games, what's actually happening is you don't have any control over what your unions can do. Now, it's not 100% random, to be fair, but what it is we're going to see this in a second. What happens is you're given a choice of 5, or up to 5 options, and each of those options will have your guys doing different things, and none of those are what you can pick, or the 5 that are on the screen. So your basic rundown, as we'll see here, is going to be attack, magic. So here we have attack, here we have attack with mystic arts, here we have attack with combat arts, and play by ear. Let them do whatever they want. Alright, and so if you hit, you have a key you can hit, display union status, and this tells you the breakdown of what each of your guys in this union on the left of the screen are going to do. So here we don't use any ability points, and we all know how those work. Here we're using the mystic arts, or the magic, to spark. And then here we have combat arts, and then play it by ear. As you can tell, we don't see how this works. Now the reason this is sort of important is you level up your characters by what they do. So think of your Morrowind or your Oblivion and all that stuff. So if we use Spark a lot, what will happen is the Spark spell itself will level, the family of spells, invocation that Spark is in, will level, and our character will start moving towards being more of a mage. Alright? And XP is given twice. whenever you choose this command. So the way this will work now is if I choose Spark, we'll stay with that one. Right now, just because I've chosen, he gets experience points for that. He gets half of his experience points for selecting the attack. Alright, we'll do some combat arts with this guy, do some more with this guy, and then we'll do some mystic arts with this group. The other half is when they successfully use the attack. Sometimes they don't always have that option. So even though if the first person attacks kills the mob, what'll happen is you'll at least get half that experience. So as you can see here, we have groups of people fighting against groups of people. Very simple. At this point, you really can't control it. If you hit a critical event, what'll happen is, in this setting, a quick time event will happen, and you will be able to, basically, you'll be told to hit one of the 4 keys or a trigger, and you can, on the computer, you can set these up to whatever you want. I'm using a SteelSeries gamepad, but you can use your keyboard, mouse, joystick, Xbox controller, and every single key is customizable, which is probably one of the best reasons to play this on the PC. So here we have our guys going. You can see the guys in the red are the enemies attacking, and you can see the order of what's going on. We have the strategy in this game comes first and foremost with the party morale, and you can see that in the top of the screen between allies and enemies. When it's all blue, you are taking less damage and doing more. When it's all red, you are taking more damage and doing less. And I don't have the exact numbers. You can look it up on the wiki. It's about 20% penalty or bonus depending on where it is on the bar. So it's significant. There are some battles where playing with the total morale is more important than actually doing damage sometimes, especially the final boss. If you power level yourself, he does a ton of damage. Alright, so we have this going. This is your first view of a Remnant. The guy bold. And as you can see, it's going too quickly in this battle. So let's talk about how leveling works. We have the brief view of leveling. One of the interesting things is that you can't truly control anyone but the main character. And we haven't seen the main character in battle yet. This is him right here. Mr. Rush Sykes. He's the only one whom you can equip. And your equipment options are you have a main weapon, a secondary weapon or a shield, and 2 accessories. Everyone else, they have their own equipment. What they learn, when they learn it, is predetermined in terms of classes of spells. So one person might learn invocations. We saw one of those with the Spark. And then over time, as you raise your battle rank, which is sort of your world level, they might learn remedies, or they might learn item arts, or anything along those lines.
Is that you, Blockter?
As we find, as your battle rank increases, so do the enemies in the field. So in the Xbox version of the game, there was no point to leveling. The best way to play the game was to literally skip every enemy you could find, except for the ones you had to kill.
Hey!
For everyone else, for the PC version, it doesn't really matter that much. Yes, everything will level up with you, but at a much more controlled pace, so you can't level yourself into a wall.
Cave. At least the exit isn't.
So we're going to be getting up once this is done. Do we have another video to go through? We might skip that one. There's no point. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and we'll get out of this, and we could skip the videos, which is something I wish every game would let you do. You can also pause videos. So let's go ahead and get through all this. I'm going to tell you about one of the reasons that kept me from playing the game for a long time, and it's this field of view. It might not look so bad now, but it is a very claustrophobic field, and it feels like you're barely moving. There is a way to change that, and if you go and check out the Last Remnant wiki, they have how to do that, a page dedicated to PC tweaks. And what you do is you can't change it permanently. You actually have to bind it to a key, either in a keyboard or your controller. I'm using my thumbsticks, the buttons on the thumbsticks, to do this for me, because things like the world map and towns are actually bound, or actually rendered in 3D space, so they won't look right. So you go back and forth between a bit. But as you can see here, with the field of view set to, this is 75 versus the standard, whatever this is. Set to 75, it actually is much more, you feel like you're moving. You can see much more of the world around you. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at this. A lot of the strategy in the game is very subtle in the beginning. You have these unions you can set up, and we can't really do anything with them right now. You could change formations, and they're all very specific. Oh, they don't seem very specific when you start, but as you get on, they each have their bonuses. What I could recommend most is take a look at the wiki. If you want to get 100% clear, there are quests that you have to do before story events, so they have a quick chronological walkthrough quest that you want to get through. When your companions ask for things on the world map, they're going to ask for items or components to upgrade their items. I highly recommend getting on that wiki, finding out where you can get those in the story, and grabbing them for those guys, because it is the only way to improve their weapons. And I made the mistake of ignoring that and got halfway through the game, and I was doing no damage. I was just going, normal enemies were just killing me because my battle rank was up in the 50s, and my guys are still using their crappy ass weapons. So, as you can see here, we have very basic flows of battle. You have deadlocks. One guy can attack one enemy, and that'll consider a deadlock. If they get attacked by another group of enemies, they will be flanked, and then those guys will do more damage, and it'll lower your morale every time. Some enemies can be deadlocked by multiple characters. Some cannot be deadlocked. It opens up the strategy. Also, something that's also something you don't really pick up on in these slow, easy battles in the beginning. So now we just saw the quick time. You can also turn that off just by the click of a button right in there, and you can turn turbo mode on anytime you want. And what this does is it sort of fast forwards the game for you when you're grinding. I mean, we'll be doing grinding if you want to get 100%. You can just turn that on, flip through those battle commands nice and fast, and not even worry about it. So we'll leave it at that. As I said, this game takes a while to get into.
Something's wrong.
Get that FOV fixed right away, and play side by side with the wiki. If you have a little laptop or a monitor, just have it open next to your game and figure out where everything is.
I wasn't expecting this.
When a guy walks up to you and says, "I need Vulture underbelly fur," I don't think it's cheating to figure out A, where the hell you can find the guys that drop that, and B, what specific parts of the map they can drop that in, and C, if you need a special item from another quest to get said item. You could probably cut down your 100% complete to well under the 140 hours I spent if you aren't stubborn and just start looking things up from the beginning.
Won't let bullies like you get in my way.
Overall rank, I'm not really a big believer in scores. As I said, it was enough for me to do 100%, and I enjoyed it. The final boss, if you do everything, do all the side quests, you can unlock the true form of the boss, and it was a fantastic fight. And I'm not afraid to admit, I had to attempt it 4 times, going back and leveling some more and upgrading more weapons every time before I finally got him down on my second try. So that is it for now. We will be returning back to XCOM and normal nightly broadcast now that this is done. I just feel like it gets out of the way, and I hope you guys enjoy.